Welcome back to Techstrong Unplugged. My name is Cassandra Chin, and today we're here with Melissa McKay, and we're at the KubeCon North America event at Salt Lake City.
Cool.
Can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, beautiful venue, by the way, here. Lots of excitement, lots of people. It's been really cool.
I believe we have like 9,000 attendees.
Yeah, pretty awesome. I'm Melissa McKay. I'm currently the head of developer relations at JFrog. I'm actually based in Denver, so not a huge trip for me to get here. But I've never been to Salt Lake City, so this has been quite the trip. Beautiful place. I'm happy to be here.
What inspired you to get into computer science?
Well, actually, it was kind of by accident. I didn't grow up I didn't have any family that was involved in computer science in any way. I wasn't even familiar with, what people did. And so I knew I was good at math. I really enjoyed that. And I was encouraged to look into some kind of a STEM degree, an engineering degree. And I chose electrical engineering. That's what I actually started to when I went to college. That was my major that I declared was electrical engineering. Well, one of the classes that we had to take for that study was it was like a beginning to programming class, but the very, very first thing they taught us was binary math and hex. And I was just in love. I'm like, wait, what is this? I never knew this existed. And then when I started looking at code and code samples that they were teaching us, I didn't have any idea that people did this for a living, and I immediately changed my degree. So that's how that happened.
That feels very coincidental.
Yes, very much.
Accident.
Very much. And it was difficult because it's kind of late to start learning computer science. Right now, today, we see like kids are learning programming earlier in school. I think that's really helpful. I did really feel behind, but with my personality, I kind of like the challenge. So I did I worked really hard and caught up with my peers. It was.
And when you made the switch to computer science, how did you overcome being a woman in the field and your peers are probably guys?
Yeah, I didn't struggle a whole lot. I mean, I did notice, especially when I'd walk into a classroom and I'd be maybe one of two women there, and in some cases, maybe the only one there. I can see how that would be intimidating for people. I was very quiet, didn't talk a whole lot, but the more I got interested in the subject, the more passionate I was about, talking about it with the people that were around me. So, and I was lucky to be accepted pretty well. So I think even as a younger kid, I had a lot of support. There was I'll never forget her. I'm going to name her because she affected my life so much. Her name was Mary Bieber. She ran an independent study program at the elementary school I was at. And she noticed that I was good at math. She pushed me hard. She got me into advanced classes. And so that was the first time that I noticed, I was as a younger girl, I was being pushed into situations that weren't as comfortable, but I got a lot of practice with it early on. So when it came to doing stuff later and being involved in computer science especially, all my professors were men, and a lot of those students were guys. I think it was just a confidence level. I was lucky because I have heard, stories from others, just anecdotal, that, maybe their journey wasn't as easy.
Yeah, I think sometimes just knowing someone who supports you can make the difference.
Yes, my professors were very supportive too. No time did I feel like I was being singled out or ignored or anything like that. So, yeah, good experiences.
And I know earlier in your career you were a software engineer,
yes.
But now you're, I guess, head of DevRel.
Yes. So that was quite the move. I was a developer for years and years and years. I had the opportunity to start an internship and then was later employed by a services company that did a lot of contract work for other companies. So I got a lot of experience, like broad experience in different languages and different tool sets and stuff. I think that made a big difference because it gave me that breadth of knowledge that you definitely need for DevRel, of course, in order to be able to have good conversations with a wide variety of people. But I loved programming. I loved being in front of my computer, writing the code, fixing bugs, going to Jira, pulling a task out, getting stuff done. The planning meetings with my teams, those were always really good experiences. I loved the challenge, but there was a point in time when I started realizing I wanted to do something different. It was time to change in my career, and I was really interested in teaching, education, and that's a big portion of DevRel is education, helping others, helping our customers mainly. That's a big one as well, and I really enjoy that kind of work. I also got an experience where I went to an unconference. And you know what an unconference is, right? Cassandra, I think we met at an unconference. It was called JCrete. And man, it was like 12 years ago or something is the first one that I went to and consistently went every year. I did not go last year. I was really bummed about that. But this summer I'll make an appearance there again. But that experience, I got to meet a lot of other speakers that traveled, went to conferences, were putting together these talks. It was a few years before I decided to take the jump, but I think that was the beginning of my thinking that I was going to be led in a different direction at some point. So it's been almost 5 years now that I've been in DevRel. I am not bored. I can say that. There's always something new to learn, different challenges that, like I said, it's a different animal than the strictly development work or coding. So yeah, that's the long story, how I got here.
And before you were DevRel, the DevRel position, you go to conferences, present, and you teach developers?
Yes. Well, JFrog is a DevOps platform. We have a DevOps platform, DevSecOps platform. And so I ended up talking to not only just developers, but a lot of operations folks as well. So that was a whole other aspect that was relatively new to me, being able to get in with that crowd and be able to address their concerns. So yes, being able to speak with developers and getting them to be conscious of how they were actually building their software, thinking of things like what dependencies they're pulling in, maybe some security issues that they had never thought about. I really enjoy speaking to younger developers and getting them caught up on, the general software processes that they're going to experience, early on in their careers. And so, yeah.
I feel like they don't teach those software processes in school.
They don't. I noticed this too, especially when I graduated. I was overwhelmed with all of the new tools that I needed to learn. I wasn't really familiar with build servers. I wasn't familiar with CI/CD. Even source control was challenging for me. That was the first time, when you're in school and a student, maybe you don't always have the experience of working in a team, so you're never presented with the problem of trying to keep code coordinated between several different people. So of course, when I got an internship, and I highly recommend doing this for anyone in a computer science program, get that internship, because that's where you're going to get the real job experience and be able to see what it's really like being a software developer. It is not sitting alone in a corner doing your own thing. That is not how it is. There's a lot of communication that is involved, a lot of understanding requirements and that kind of thing. So yes, in school you learn the basics. You learn code, you learn those details, how to write code, but the rest of it you're going to get on the job.
And being a part of DevRel now, do you still face any issues with feeling like you're the only woman?
Yes, I still get in situations like that. I think in DevRel, I have had a lot more of experience with other women, mainly because part of DevRel is coordinating different teams within the company, making sure those communication lines are open. So I get a lot of access to other areas of the company where there are more women. And I'm not sure why that is, but like, for example, our marketing department, we have a ton of amazing women and men in our marketing department. But I do get, more interaction with women there. There's still plenty of times, especially, when I come to an event, I may go to a session even, and I'll look across the room and maybe there's, 5 women in a 100-person audience. Occasionally that does happen, and I'm not sure why that still is today, but I think a big portion of it, at least for me in my own experience in getting here, was just getting that support, getting not being subject to the biases that we all have unintentionally in a lot of cases, and I got pushed and encouraged into this position.
I mean, personally for me, like, I'm pursuing computer science, but I've known you for a long time and you're in the industry.
Yeah.
So you're like a pillar of support.
Awesome. That makes a difference too, is getting women in these positions and then having us talk about it. So I love doing this with you, Cassandra. I think this is very important to get that out there, to have examples for other girls, other women that want to get into this career. It's absolutely possible.
I hope we can inspire more women to get into computer science and we can build allyship.
Yes.
So thank you today, Melissa.
Thank you. Good talking with you.
Yeah.